and I'm back for another YouTube video of what would have happened if this were in real life RhinoTMRT gameplay series. Now, I've been trying over and over again, thinking about a good idea, and I know that there's one. I know that it can happen, and I'm supposed to do one of the. I mean, you expect me to do one of these, based on like a Christmas movie, sequel, prequel, or reboot or live action reboot slash remake idea. You see, because you expect me to do a Christmas movie idea that either happens to be like a sequel, prequel, or live action reboot or live action remake. And truth be told, I just don't have one. Like, I don't have one in mind, but I do have one in mind. One that has gone to my head. Now, keep in mind that this is a DreamWorks movie sequel idea because as we all know, I've already done one. There's Megamind 2. I've done Megamind 2. I've already done Madagascar 4, and I've already done Rise of the Guardians 2 for the Christmas RhinoTMRT gameplay week. So yeah, and I figured why not, and I already have one set up, so yeah, and now I'm gonna do it, so yeah. So this is what would have happened, if the Kung Fu Panda 4 movie were in real life. Now we cut open to the beginning where Po, the Furious Five, and Shifu every panda in the Secret Panda Village and Mr. Ping are all enjoying themselves. Yes, this sequel actually starts off like that. They of course enjoy themselves. Po is eventually is now Master Po. Po is now not only the Dragon Warrior, but he's also Master Po now, and yes, of course, Master Po along with who is of course now known as Dragon Warrior Master Po. Well, yeah, he's still technically Po is still known as Dragon Warrior Master Po, and I just assumed that all this would happen. And the four pandas from the Amazon original Kung Fu Panda original TV show streaming service series are actually make a cameo in this. Actually, make a much larger cameo in the other thing. So this sequel plays out like that. Po the Furious Five and Po's four apprentices and they're all enjoying their lives. Meanwhile, an evil ancient alien civilization actually crashes down in one place in a much different place. Crashes down in like a village, crashes down in like a remote village, which I guess kind of does make sense. So yeah, technically an evil ancient alien civilization meteorite crashes right down through a remote village in China. And when you think about it in the China of the Kung Fu Panda world, and then most of the people in that remote village are like, whoa, what is that thing doing right here? But it turns out that thing is actually an evil ancient alien, who actually has the same power, who actually uses the same but a little bit, who actually uses the same powers as Kai did in Kung Fu Panda 3, but totally different. Who basically, but is little, but is someone, but he has Kai. Okay, so think about it. So this evil ancient alien king, who has an evil ancient alien civilization because their whole planet blew up. They eventually, and then they find out that Kai is actually is actually a descendant. It turns out that Kai is actually a descendant to these evil ancient alien civilization. because it turns out that this evil ancient alien king actually holds the actually is the key of Kai's power backstory powers of Kai's powers backstory. So, and then Cole in the Furies 5, they tell Shifu that Kai's powers has a backstory, and that his powers actually came from an evil ancient alien civilization that was supposed to be burned down. And once had Kai's powers, but then eventually they were all burned down and their planet got destroyed, and then they were never ever seen again up until now. So Poe and the Furious Five, they set out to destroy this evil ancient alien civilization, and the only way they can do that is by traveling to Japan. Because somewhere in Japan, there's actually a weapon that can destroy the evil ancient alien civilization and save their that where Kai's powers come from. Where they because there's actually an ancient weapon that can actually destroy an ancient relic weapon that can actually destroy the evil ancient alien civilization and save them. So Poe and the Furious Five, they eventually go set out to find this ancient relic weapon, and then it takes them forever, and then they finally get there. And then they finally get there, then they go through a few couple of traps, and then they eventually get it. And then, of course, they plan an attack. And then, of course, Poe, the Furious Five, Shifu, and the Secret Panda Village, and Mr. Ping, they all plan out their attack on the evil ancient alien civilization. They eventually go there, and then that's the whole point. So they eventually go there, and then we cut to the battle scene, and then it shows it to a scene, and then it cuts to a scene for the fighting battle scene. So Pull the Furious Five and all the other masters and all that, they all go against the evil ancient alien civilization whose Kai's powers were actually came from. And it's one big fighting battle scene, and one of the characters dies. So one of the characters actually dies in the fourth movie. So it turns out that Mr. Ping actually dies in this movie, and then his final words are Poe, you are a great son, and Poe's father's name I forgot from the third movie. You were also a great father before I adopted him and took care of him. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. So Mr. Ping dies. Poe and the Furious Five, they eventually go after the evil ancient alien civilization, only to find out that not only were they the ones who used to have Kai's powers, but they were also, but not only that, but it's also confirmed that the one actually leading the evil ancient alien king just so that the evil ancient alien king just so happens to be Tai Lung Jr. from the Kung Fu Panda TV show. So the evil ancient alien king all along was actually Tai Lung technically because he got rid of the real evil ancient alien king actually was because the real one was actually destroyed by Tai Lung Jr. So technically the plot twist is that the evil ancient alien king actually died years ago, and that Tai Lung Jr. took his place, and that Tai Lung took his place, and that Tai Lung refused to take his place. However, this would later when Tai Lung actually refused to take the evil ancient alien king's place, Tai Lung Jr. actually stepped in, and that's kind of how the plot twist is. So eventually, Poe and the Furious Five, they run after Tai Lung Jr., who is merely running away along with the evil ancient alien army. Yeah, and then they eventually, and then both Poe and the Furious Five and Tai Lung Jr., who before was once known as the evil ancient alien king, actually tells Poe that in the Furious Five actually tell Tai Lung Jr. that they actually tell him that Poe actually defeated Tai Lung all those that Poe actually defeated Tai Lung and that basically died so many years ago. So that's kind of how it is because the idea is that because it actually is a perfect good ending because the villain of this because I think the idea of making Tai Lung Jr. the villain of Kung Fu Panda Force, it kind of feels like a great way to bookend the Kung Fu Panda movie franchise, which it kind of does feel like a perfectly good way. So Tai Lung Jr. He eventually tries to fight back Poe, and then he of course and then Poe and the Furious Five eventually fight back at him, and then it just so happens that Poe eventually, and then just before everything is about to be destroyed, Poe actually uses the same, but a little bit of a different technique. He uses a new technique that he learned from his father by using both that pinky thing that he used, and also using chi at the same time. So he uses both his pinky thing and the chi at the same time, and uses it like points it right at him like a million times, and then he puts it on his and then he puts it on his hands, therefore getting rid of him. And then Tai Lung Jr. is defeated and dead. So yeah, just like his father Tai Lung. So yeah, Poe and the Furious Five and Shifu and everybody else, they all celebrate and all. And to be honest, this is actually a very good way to bookend the Kung Fu Panda movie franchise. I mean, yes, of course, there is also the TV shows, but I kind of wanted it to be bookending like this. So it started off with Tai Lung, so I figured that I could end off with Tai Lung Jr. So yeah. And then they all live happily ever after. The end. And then we get a post credit scene where an evil Shifu from a different reality actually comes in, therefore paving the way for a spin-off. Therefore paving the way for like a reboot movie or something. I don't know. Anyways, and that's what would have happened if the Kung Fu Panda 4 movie were in real life. Anyways, that's it for today. Peace out. Bye bye.